Señores, bienvenido a otro episodio de The Blueprint Podcast, donde te traemos personas que no simplemente tienen una historia chulísima en el mundo del emprendedurismo, pero también están aquí para enseñarte a ti maneras de ganar dinero y identificar oportunidades. No simplemente hablamos de historias o lo entrevistamos, sino identificamos muchas oportunidades para ustedes o crear negocios o ayudarse creando otros ingresos extra. Y no importa si eres empleado, si no tienes trabajo o tienes una visión de que quieres emprender, en este podcast nosotros nos enfocamos en enseñarte a ti, nuevo emprendedor o persona que quiere emprender, a desarrollar los frameworks mentales y también identificar oportunidades. Hoy, como pueden ver mi background, tenemos una persona bastante interesante. Es un aficionado de los vehículos. Para mí me encanta porque estar aquí es como estoy en Toys R Us o estoy en juguetón, porque para nosotros los hombres nunca crecemos, nosotros no crecemos, nosotros simplemente los juguetes se vuelven un poquito más caros y más grandes. Y aquí tenemos una persona que de verdad se le nota que proyecta valores correctos en el desarrollo de las empresas y le encanta disfrutar la vida y vivirlo un poquito rápido, como pueden ver. Señores, aquí tenemos al empresario Thomas. Thomas, by the way, the podcast va a ser en inglés, así que usen su AI para traducirlo o pongan suscripción en el video. Así que Thomas, thank you for your time, brother.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
It's taken a little bit of time to get together, but we finally done it.
We finally did it. I mean, dude, I know life gets crazy, right? I mean, running a multi-million-dollar business, it's probably a little bit hectic. So I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. I always look forward to meeting people like you, because a young guy like me probably could, 100% can learn from people like you. So thank you so much. I know time is super precious. So thank you for hopping on. Thank you for now, adding value to the marketplace. And thank you, dude. Thank you.
I'm
so
looking
much.
forward to it.
So Thomas, I mean, besides all this cool stuff that we're saying, man, tell me, who is Thomas? Besides being the Dominican Top Gear that I already found out.
Well, it's interesting what you mentioned, that men never grow up. Well, I still feel like I'm still the 18-year-old Thomas with the same energy and drive, but with a bit more toys now. Now my dreams have become
a little bit more expensive.
Yeah,
right?
a bit more reality. Well, expensive is something which is relative. I always say it's expensive to be rich. So it's all relative, you have to live within your means. So if going out to dinner is McDonald's, you're spending $9.99, or if you are living in with greater means, then your dinner is going to be $999.
Exactly.
But it's all relative at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're making $1 million or $2 million, a $900 meal probably is like $10.
Exactly. It's all
That's
relative.
pretty interesting, man. So, Thomas, where did everything start? I love the fact that you mentioned that you got into your first venture was actually car designs.
Yes, yeah. So I started industrial design, which gave me a great foundation for what I'm doing right now, actually, in my contact center business. But it was aimed towards car design, which was my passion since I was 12 years old when I rode in my first Ferrari, my uncle's Ferrari, which I mentioned to you earlier. I actually ended up buying earlier this year. It's a shame it's not here today, but that's for another time. And that's something which I tell my kids as well, is study what you have a passion for, not what your parents are telling you to do, not because someone tells you should be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, God forbid, but it's you got to do something which you're passionate about. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Nobody wants to be rich. Everyone has their level, but you got to dream big and go for it. And if you're not doing something that you have a passion for, you're not going to.
Let me ask you right there. Were you the black sheep of your family?
No, I was the oldest. So, no, it wasn't. I wouldn't say I was the black sheep. My father was entrepreneurial, And
So you understood the concept of thinking outside the box.
yeah, and I just didn't see myself ever working for somebody else. Only did that once, which actually brought me to the DR, so I can't complain. But I've always been entrepreneurial since I left university. And actually, after I finished my studies, it was a bit tough to find a job. I ended up getting a job in the United States, but I had to wait for my green card. And at that time, because I wasn't just going to sit down and do nothing, I ended up helping my parents out in a family restaurant that we had in London. And I definitely learned I'm not going to be in the restaurant business. Way too many long hours, hard work. And I thought I definitely got to succeed in my automotive design field. But I ended up deciding to open up my own design studio with a friend of mine. We started literally in London. We literally started from my bedroom, and I moved to the spare bedroom. And it was near my birthday, so I told my dad, as a gift, give me a fax machine. That's how long ago it was. And that's how we started. A couple of desks, a fax machine, and we went to India soon after because the Indian automotive market had just liberated. And this is now back in 1992, 93. And
I was born in 1993.
Oh, there you go. So it all started at that, from an entrepreneurial level. So from my bedroom, I ended up getting offices, but I always had the drive to make money. And although I was doing well, I had one classic Alfa Romeo. I had actually a Fiat Dino, which has the Ferrari V6 engine. So I thought I had a Ferrari, but it was a Fiat with a Ferrari engine. But I realized in automotive design, I wasn't going to get to the levels I wanted to. So that drove me to find something else which I could have a passion for to grow. And so along with my business partner at the time, we set up the first website in the UK where you could buy online car finance and insurance. And the way we attracted, this was now 1996, the way we attracted them, we had a database of all the cars available in the UK. So although people were looking at the Ferraris, the Lamborghini, and the Porsches, they couldn't afford them, but they like to compare. So we had a database that you could compare cars, and then we started doing videos, we started doing interviews with owners of such cars, and now this is still the modem age.
Dial-up.
Yeah.
I remember that, by the way.
Yeah, big time. So, that ended up being a successful website that we ended up selling to Yahoo. And we sold that for £1 million. The big mistake was I should have taken shares. I probably wouldn't be sitting here, and I might have an even better car collection if I'd taken Yahoo shares at the...
Did they offer it to you?
Oh, they did, but my father was going, cash is king, and take the cash.
Wow.
So then I started with the £500,000 I kept from, obviously we're a 50-50 partnership. I was only, 25, 26 at the time. I decided to set up a new venture, which was online related. My other passion aside cars is sports, especially football. So,
like soccer or football?
yeah,
American
soccer, football. Yeah, soccer, football. Yeah, real football.
Like real football. Americans don't copy them.
Yeah, so football and Formula One. So I set up a company, Eclipse Sports, which designed content around the world for sports-related websites. And that did very well. Unfortunately, after 9/11, there was a big market crash on many things, but especially advertising, and our business was driven by advertising, and that business ended up fading. So, again, good lesson is that you can fail in life. It's just what you learn from your failures is what makes you at the end of the day. So I went all the way from having my multi-million-dollar home, model girlfriend, BMW, Ferrari, Porsche, to going back to living with my parents. Total.
Wow.
Starting from
Tell me a little bit
Okay.
about that, because like a lot of people, especially young entrepreneurs, they see business and they're like, oh, I'm afraid to fail. I'm like, Don't you think that's part of it?
Everyone's failed. I mean, Jeff Bezos failed, Steve Jobs failed, up to a point even Bill Gates was failing at some point. And
Donald Trump has been bankrupt.
multiple ways of failure now. I would say that. No, so it's all part of learning. Like when you learn a bicycle, to ride a bicycle, you're going to fall. No one rides a bicycle first time and is perfect.
Yep.
So it's like everything else in life, whether it's relationships or learning a new skill, you're going to fail. And in business, you're going to fail.
How many times has Thomas been bankrupt?
Well, no, once was enough.
Once was enough to learn. Okay.
Once was enough, that's for sure. And but was I near failure at some point? Yes, in my current business, a long time ago. Again, lessons learned, mainly on cash flow and risk analysis and things like that. Very basic business things that now you learn. And it's interesting that many businesses fail when they get successful. If you're not ready for the success and you don't have the working capital to succeed. So that's something which I've learned, and I always keep now my working capital safe, because if an opportunity arises, I need to be able to attack it straight away.
What would be a mental framework, a basic one, for you to see money? For example, let's say start from the bottom. I have an empanada spot. I make my first 200K.
What would be pesos?
200 pesos, 200,000 pesos.
Okay.
What would be a best way for me to manage it?
Now, okay, so again, it depends on what you define as a successful business, because everyone has different aims and ambitions. But if you want to become a serial entrepreneur, rich, where your family is comfortable, where you're getting the toys you want, you get to get the choice of lifestyle you want. Like right now, I can go away once a month for a week to 10 days on vacation, or I'm working whilst I'm in a different location, I call it. I'm never 100% off the business. I can do that because of everything I've achieved till now and how I've designed the business to be managed without me being physically there. But it takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes decades of sacrifices. So the reason why it's successful, Adventures has been successful, is its scalability. So the empanada guy, do not sit on the 200,000 pesos. Buy another spot, hire someone you can trust, open up another empanada location. Learn what made you successful in your first location and replicate it. When we open up a call center, the first thing we think about is the location. Location. Like my materia prima, my raw material is my employees. Because in contact centers, I know there's AI coming up and everything else, but you still need bodies
humans,
to take the calls. And if they can't get to your location, well, you've got a big issue. And also you're fighting for these employees, especially in the Dominican Republic, where we have bilingual agents. We don't do any Spanish speaking. We do just mainly English. We need to fight for those employees. So we're going to make it as easy as possible for them to come to us. So location is one of the key factors. So whatever businesses you're in, you're going to look at those. What are the 3 key factors that make your business successful? Not everything is to do with location, but you need to stick to those 3 main principles and just scale it. And then it becomes copy, paste. It's not. I remember when I set up my first call center, it was 100 seats. And to me, I was building an empire. Oh, I got 100 seats.
100 seats.
Now, a new location for me has to have at least 1,000 seats. And for me, it's like, just like the thing, walk in the park. But it's a walk in the park partly because of experience and partly because we got the process down. So I'm happy when I see contractors that I started using 20 years ago, 15 years ago, who I still use now, but they turn up to a meeting in a Mercedes. They're no longer doing the work. They go, oh, Thomas, you need to have 100 cubicles wired up. I can probably do it in 3 months' time because I'm doing a bank right now in Santiago. That actually makes me happy, because that means that person who I hired to do a job 15 years ago and he was working all night and sweat equity has learned to scale his business where he's no longer doing the work.
Actually, I want to get into that because that's what in business, right? It's SOPs, right? Systems of procedure.
Yeah.
How it's important for you to duplicate yourself into your employees. That way they can just keep on following your vision or the brand's principles, or even make sure the system works correctly.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. I would say that's the toughest part in growing a business, to have your immediate team having the same vision and the same dream, and pardon me for saying it, but the same cojones as well. Because in all businesses, sometimes you're against the wall. It happened with Apple. Had to go and borrow money from Bill Gates. People forget about that. But if Bill Gates hadn't put in $150 million back in the 90s into Apple, we wouldn't have Apple now. So it's how do you react when you're against the wall? And sometimes it can be small issues and something can be major issues. And the first thing you have to do, you have to react. You have to do something, because if you don't change what you're doing, don't expect changes. I mean, you've got to do something different. And in general, human beings don't like change. So you're going against human nature just to push the change. And that's when you need to step up as a leader as well, because you cannot expect everyone to do what you do. From my personal point of view, I would say at some point during the lifetime of my business, I took the foot off the pedal and realized later on that I had to pay the consequences, or the business paid the consequences for me not being as involved as I should be. And again, this is not to do with time spent in the business. It's like cerebral time. I mean, thinking on the business, pushing the team to go to the next level. Perfect example right now, due to AI, the contact center business is shrinking. Now, it's not shrinking to the point it's going to disappear. We're not at Armageddon point or whatever. But there are changes in the market. So what we do is linked to either having people taking phone calls in a standard BPO model, or we rent seats to call centers, mainly from the United States, who want to come to the DR, Trinidad, for the first time. They want to spend millions of dollars of CapEx, so it's cheaper and less risky for them to rent space from us.
And nearshore.
Yeah, I mean, they're saving money, obviously, by nearshoring, but that's not even the business driver anymore. People in America no longer want to work in call centers. You make more money flipping burgers at McDonald's, and you get a free meal. So hiring people is the key thing. And we saw that change in the market to the point where we launched a new company recently called Talent Talks, which is reverse engineering what we do. So now we're offering US companies employees in our workspace. So we're becoming the employee of record. And so we're hiring people which are bookkeepers, data analysts, secretaries, back office people, graphic designers, or literally anything which is being done in an office in the States or can be done from work from home. We're offering both in the DR and Trinidad. So we managed to pivot. But how did we manage to pivot? Because of the strong infrastructure we have. We own our facilities. We have state-of-the-art facilities. So, we've got, our furniture comes from Italy. Like, it's not cheap Chinese stuff. We have the best.
Not in IKEA, right?
No, exactly. So we have the best of Cisco networking, cybersecurity. We're cybersecurity up to the hilt. We're PCI level 1 compliant. Just to give you an idea, there's not one bank in the Dominican Republic which is level 1 PCI. Just to give you an idea. And we're also HIPAA compliant. That means we can handle medical records.
Yep.
So that has given us the opportunity to pivot. So that's another thing I would stress to any young entrepreneur, is to invest in quality.
Quality.
Yeah, it's not about finding the cheapest solution. You're better off investing in more money. That means you taking less money for yourself and personal use, because in the long term, it will pay back. I've done the mistake. I went to China and found these chairs, and I thought, oh wow, these are great. Half the price of the Italian chairs, and then less than a year later, they all rusted away. They broke.
You have to buy them again.
I had to buy them again, and and that's because I went away for one of my principles. We had an issue also with some of our technology where 6 or 7 years ago, we went away from our trusted model and supplier because there was a cheaper solution. I was offering the same quality. And all in all, the quality was there, but the terms were different. And then to expand with the technology ended up being much more expensive than the previous technology we have. So we had to get rid of this technology and go back to the previous technology, which had a cost implication. So
how much did it cost you pivoting of it?
$700,000. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was more the time lost and the loss of focus. And definitely as an entrepreneur, focus is key. You need to put business first if you want to be successful. I definitely personally suffered in my personal relationship with my kids when they were growing up until they were like 8 or 9 years old because I was focused on my business. And
I have 2 great questions because that is so important. Number one, you mentioned quality versus, let's say, quantity or cheapest prices. Most entrepreneurs, literally the first tactic they go for, it's like, oh, I'll be the cheapest, right? I want to talk about that because a lot of people think that, like, oh, let's say in my size, so we run an AI growth agency. We partnered up with companies. We're basically a walking sales center, right? We just integrate with the company, help them scale. And some of these agencies, they're promoting themselves like, oh, we're the cheapest option. Why do you want to be the cheapest option? That's crazy. No. So any thought about that and positioning yourself like that?
Well, okay. So first of all, if you're looking to be the cheapest option, you're going to have a lot more competition. Like you can go out in the streets and buy cheap shoes and you have 10 stores offering cheap shoes. Then you want to go and buy a high quality shoe, like the shoes I'm wearing today, they're from Johnson & Crockwell. These are the same shoes that James Bond uses, by the way. These are the James Bond. There's only 3 stores in the world that sell these shoes. They're handmade in Northampton, England. Actually, they're not that even crazy. They're below $1,000. They're not like crazy. They're cheaper than Louis Vuitton and built much better. But again, their market is a lot smaller because not many people are going to go and buy $1,000 shoes. So I'd always say that, you should push to sell a quality product rather than the cheapest product. Because also if the market goes down, your market base is the cheapest market base, the one that suffers the quickest. Rich people do not suffer during a recession. They win in a recession. They love recessions, rich people. They take advantage of opportunities to buy things at 50 cents on the dollar and everything else. So if you're going out there to sell a product or a service, it has to be a quality service. Now, it doesn't have to be super expensive. You're not going out there to sell Ferraris or Rolls Royces. But look at Bloomberg. $6 billion in sale a year, and it's the same product they had 30 years ago. It's like a fucking dot matrix computer, but it's the best in the world. He's the only one that has that information. He's selling information at the end of the day. And people pay that money because they know they can trust the quality of that Bloomberg information. So definitely aim for that middle or upper tier in the market. Like when we have prospective clients, one of the first things I say is like, I'm not here selling Fords. I'm selling Mercedes, BMW. Just to get in the picture. Don't start talking to me, oh, I'm looking for a shop. Because like cheap call centers, like say, you mentioned you worked in one. I'm not going to mention the name in the video, but that's a shop. We're not a shop. we're a contact center operation, BPO. We don't answer phone calls. We provide customer service. We try to provide best in market customer service as well. Dominican Republic lays itself to be is a very good customer service location. We're in a position, fortunately, now where we can turn down clients. In the past, we take whatever came, whatever.
Let's go, brother.
Yeah, but now, if my potential client doesn't want to offer good quality service, I'm not going to take it, because that represents my brand as well. I don't want to be associated with poor quality. And this is something I was going to maybe mention a little bit later, but I think the biggest or the most valuable service or asset you can have as a business owner or as a business is trust. Clients are looking for trust, especially in this day and age, all this fake AI stuff, or, dissemination of information. You don't really know what's the truth or anymore. The trust, because, and we've had this happen to us, where a client maybe has to pivot or they have to change the type of business they're in, they're going to come to you first and go, look, I can no longer buy this service from you, but I need this. Can you do this for me? Because ultimately, he knows he can trust you.
Yep.
Or she can trust you to do that. So trust is the number one thing. That's why my phone is never off. A client can call me at any time. If I do not pick up the phone, it's because I'm in the air, or they're at reception, or I'm on another call and I'll call you back. But I make it very clear to my clients they can call me at any time. If there's something that cannot be resolved by my team, you let me know. I'll find a way to get that.
And that's the entrepreneur spirit. It's like, yeah, you're CEO, but you're just the main problem solver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. That definitely, that's what CEO is main problem solver. But then again, you got to earn your money as well. You cannot just be a dictator or say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, go out and do that. And no, you need to lead, and you need to show, because otherwise, if everyone else could do the job.
Thomas, important question. What does it mean to be CEO? So a lot of people say things like, yeah, I'm the CEO of this, and the chief executive officer, I'm the boss. But what does it actually mean, especially to you?
Well, okay, so there's two types of CEOs. There's the one which went through business studies and MA in business and grew through the ranks and then became CEO. Or you're a CEO like myself, which was the entrepreneur and was the CEO from day one. But at day one, you're the CEO, which is helping to paint the office and cleaning the toilets. And 20 years later, you're like, you're watching everybody else do the work. You push people in the right directions, but you enjoy the fruits of your labor. As I mentioned from the beginning, it's about the passion. The CEO has to drive the passion through the company. And I've been in a situation where, I had business partners, very good business partners, but they saw the CEO position more of a functional role than rather the entrepreneurial role. And they felt like at one point that they could bring in a better person to do the job, which obviously I fought. And since I'm now the sole owner of my company, we've increased revenues by over 40%, because I've been more bullish, and I've been able to reinvigorate myself as well. I've got to be honest that at some point I was just going through the formalities, because one way or the other I was going to get paid, the business was going okay, and I wasn't getting 100 cents on the dollar for my efforts. So I stepped back a little bit. The moment I took full control, my energy levels jumped 100%. And if there's a lesson to learn there is that, a bank loan is for 5 years. Partners can be for life. You can get divorced. from your wife or husband, but you cannot get divorced from your business partners unless everybody agrees. So, but it's not easy. I mean, I would say that if you do bring in business partners, especially silent partners, have a get-out clause. Have a way where you have the right, okay, I'm going to pay X amount, multiple of EBITDA, and I can buy you out.
What would be a way to identify good partners? Or how can you define having good partners?
Well, again, we come back to the same thing, trust. You got to be able to work with someone you can trust. It doesn't have to be a friend. I would recommend not doing business with friends. Don't do business with people which are not ethical. Like, how do these people make their money? They're going to have a story, not just turn up with cash.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things to take into consideration, just basic common sense.
Let's break it down into options. Business partner that just comes in with cash, business partner that comes with skill.
Well, then again, you have to have two heifers. If you're going to bring someone in who's got skill, they're going to want to have a serious say on the day-to-day operations. So then you are partners. They're no longer investors. So are you looking for a partner or an investor? If you have your own sole vision, if you are an alpha male, you cannot have a partner. You got to go for an investor, because it's going to come to the point in the business, if it's going to take off, it's going to grow, where someone has to put their foot down and say, no, we're going to do it this way, my way. And if there's two people saying that, and they're not singing from the same hymn sheet, it creates a big problem.
Follow-up question with that. How would you manage ego within the company?
Ego can be good, but it has to be kept under control. Again, I think egos can be a little bit fake. It's a bit make-believe when you have an ego involved. When I'm looking to hire someone in my management team, which is running in the DR, I've got about 16 managers, another 2 in Trinidad, which is a much smaller operation. I'm looking for a good team member before anything else. I've done the mistakes of hiring someone that has a great CV, worked in a great company, which I'm thinking I'm going to learn from, has gone to the right universities, has the right shoes. Well, he can tick all the boxes, but he's an asshole. You don't want assholes in your management team. And you need people which you can go out and have a drink with. It's as simple as that. So now I feel comfortable that everyone in my team is someone I can go and have a drink with. Whereas even up to 6 months ago or beginning of the year, we had to let some people go, and they just were the wrong fit for the company. And it took me a long time to learn that as well.
What do you say because of that? By that time, did you had a define, let's say, values for the company? Like, the only thing we accept here is charisma, customer service, teamwork.
Yes and no. Again, being the entrepreneurial CEO, you go a lot with the gut and with instinct. I let other people in the company put together the values of the company and the ethos and all those kind of things. Me personally, I find it hard to get into that. I'm not saying it's correct, but me personally, I find that part difficult because I know what I want and how to go and get it, because I've got that passion and that drive. So if some people believe in the fact you need to stress your employees what are your values and whatever, I'd rather do that through showing them an experience, and rather than like it's written there on the wall, that's what you must do.
Exactly.
So, we have our own induction of all our employees, whether they're call center agents or they're going to be management, whatever. And we talk about what it means to be an employee of Adventus and what to expect from us. And there's not only what we expect from them, it's like what they should expect from us as well, and to be teamwork. To give you an example of where I feel we are a success when it comes to teamwork is during the recent storm of Melissa. Everybody experienced the heavy rains that we had. I've been there because it was this crazy idea of suspending the labor code that didn't help. As a call center, we cannot stop working. We got clients calling in America from the States. There's no storm over there. They want the phones answered. So most call centers offer double pay for the employees to come in. Others went as far as offering triple pay, although it wasn't mandated by law. The law just stipulated you don't have to go to work, and if you don't go to work, you're not going to get fired. We offered, obviously, door-to-door transportation because of the rains, and some of our clients offered lunches and dinners and things like that. And on top of that, we also offered a 500 peso bonus. We didn't increase size, whatever. Well, over 70% of our employees turned up on those 3 days when they had the option of just staying home. And so I think that speaks volume more than anything you can put on the wall as a poster or whatever. And you need to, your employees, even if you're working in a near virtual environment or whatever it is, your employees and your management team are your key assets. At some point, you need to turn to them.
Which brings me to building culture. What's your thought on, or how important it is for you to build culture in your company?
Oh, no, I mean, that's just imperative. And again, when it comes to the management team, when I first used to hire managers, especially female managers, I had to tell them, look, I don't accept any kind of sexual harassment, or if you feel like a male colleague is getting too touchy, too close to you, gotta let me know that kind of stuff is totally unacceptable. Everybody has to be respected equal, whether between gender definition, now it's even more complicated, all that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of letters on the spectrum.
Yes. But, at the end of the day, we're looking to respect everybody as a human being. I expect all our employees to speak to whether it's a janitor, a security person, a maintenance person, or a manager in the same way. Like, just because they're doing a more manual job or they're less educated, that doesn't mean you treat them any different. So that's the kind of culture we're trying to push, but you got to have some kind of culture. Some people, rightly or wrongly point out that Elon Musk and his culture, work, and, that's maybe going a little bit extreme.
I mean, he's doing extreme stuff, right?
Yeah.
I guess he needs
you know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
I think it's better that than a place which has no culture. I feel sad when I walk into enterprises, which I've been going to for years and years, and I'm just seeing the same thing. Nothing has changed in reception, nothing but changing a carpet. The bathroom is old, is all the same people, and you're there at 5 o'clock and you can set your watch, but they all disappear. Wow, that doesn't happen in my company. Like, you do not leave because it's 5 o'clock. You leave because you finish your work. You can leave at 4:30. You finish your work. But, I have, and all entrepreneurs will have rules, and rules are important. But you have to be clear with your rule. You need to, make it clear. This is why you set the rule as well. So I have a rule that you take your lunch between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. You will not get a call from Thomas unless it's like super urgent between 12:30 and 1:30. But if I call you at 1:31 and you're not at your desk, your phone, your computer, whatever, then we have a problem. Because I gave you your 1 hour lunch break. Now, I expect you to be available and doing your job, because my lunch lasts 10 minutes. The only boss I ever had, as I mentioned before, his saying was, lunch was for losers. Like, why would you waste an hour to eat? You only need to, put in some energy, to take an energy bar, not even lunch, even an energy bar, just to keep your lunch.
Let's go.
Yeah. So another bit extreme as well. Now, again, different cultures. In the DR, Latin America, people like to enjoy their lunch, sit down with their mates, and eat in peace. The same way in Italy or in Spain, those Latin countries, is understandable. In England, lunch is a sandwich at your desk, and maybe you get 15 minutes of YouTube. Like, it's a function.
Yeah, give it like a mental break, right?
Yeah, but at least you get to eat your sandwich, but you don't get to go out. The sandwich is delivered to you. Like, it's and that took a little bit of getting used to for me here as well, probably. But again, when you talk about the culture, no successful business exists without having a
good culture.
Well, a good culture as well. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, a good culture is basically.
I've seen bad cultures in India, right? Call centers in India are kind of weird.
But bad culture for many people could be where you have stress in like Wall Street and on the floor and selling and buying shares is a high stress environment. And some people go, oh, that's not the culture I want to have, but I don't strive of it. It's like, how many millions can I make today? So again, it's ready, but you've got to have a culture. You have to have an identity. A company has to have an identity.
Thomas, one thing, this is a mental framework, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But one thing I always tell my team is, my main goal is for you guys to make as much money as possible, because that will result in me making money. What's your thought on that?
Again, it depends on the type of business you're doing. I mean, if you have revenue share, let's say, going back to your original analysis of the empanada guy, he opens up a second empanada, hires a friend, he goes, look, you're going to have 10% of the earnings. That's going to drive him to make sales.
Yep.
I definitely don't believe in the other one, which is a lot of memes where they, oh, you see this Lamborghini? Well, if you work hard next year, I'm going to buy another one.
Yeah, that's
not good. That's not right. That is funny, but that's not right. So money, I've learned, is not the main driver for most employees. So I don't think you should use money as the motivator. Now, we have a bonus structure for the top management team. And as long as the business is successful and they've been successful in their department, they get a financial bonus. Now, they might see this video and tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think that's their main driver to do a good job. That's like icing on the cake. No, it's just a recognition. I think recognizing someone for everything a good job. So like when we have our quarterly management meetings, we have what we call the Mont Blanc moment, where I give someone who I believe has been doing a little bit better than everybody else, a Mont Blanc.
Nice.
So that's recognition.
A wallet?
No, a pen.
A pen?
A pen, yeah. And so that's recognition. All our employees, I say 90% of our workforce, of our staff, are frontline taking calls. It's a hard job sitting for 8 hours a day, listening to irate people. So they need to be recognized, whether it's their birthday, whether they've got good QA scores. And again, we found that money is not the main motivator for them. They'd rather have a certificate saying, best QA score of the month than 1,000 pesos.
Interesting.
So I think, as you grow your business, I'm talking like several years into it, this is not something to worry about at the beginning. At the beginning, it's survival. Yeah. You have to start the business in survival mode. You're going to get so many bumps along the way. The first 2 years of me starting Advances, I worked 6.5 days a week. I saw my family on Sunday mornings. Because Sunday afternoon, I had to go to the office to prepare for the week. And that's how I became successful in this only company I worked with. It was a call center company. Because I would go in on Sunday afternoons to get ready
for Monday.
In the sales environment, the call center environment. And my employees, the people under me, not my employees, the people under me, appreciated it. When they came in, everything was ready. It wasn't like, oh, let's have a meeting to discuss what we're going to do for the rest of the week. No, I had already all planned out. I've done all that work. And that's by far, we were the most successful team in the company.
I love that. I truly love that because it's funny. I mean, Hector is there, and the amount of work we do on Sundays just to be ahead of the week, it's like we must be doing that. And it's funny because you mentioned two important things. One, relationships, building a business. So I'm currently on phase of scaling, and recently, I would say like a few months ago, I went through that where it's like, hey, it's affecting your personal relationship with girlfriend and all that stuff. So how do you manage that?
Wow, I can teach you all the mistakes. I don't know. I mean, I don't think ultimately there's a wrong or right answer. Now, there was something very interesting I read in Steve Jobs' autobiography, which was released after he passed away, where he took time every year to go on vacation with one of his kids. He had multiple kids, a bit like Elon Musk. He spread them around a little bit. And
I put in random names.
and he would take 1 week off and go on vacation anywhere in the world where they wanted to go. And he wouldn't take an email, a phone call, nothing. And I actually took that on board. And I did that with my kids at some point where I go, okay, where do you want to go in the world? Let's go for a week and so on. Did I stay totally off emails? No, I didn't, but they didn't see me. Like at night, they fell asleep. Okay, let me get the laptop up. But at least I dedicated time to them. And I think it again comes to what we mentioned before about quality. It's not about being with them all afternoon or all evening or seeing every soccer match they play and things. It's about the quality time and getting them to understand that you are a little bit different from maybe the parents of their friends. You do not work in a bank. You're not working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You're not working to have a pension fund and things of that kind. It's a different world that you need to support dad or mum in what we're going to do. But I don't believe in work hard for the sake of just working hard. I mean, if you are a plumber working for a general contractor and you're working 60, 70 hours a week and all you're getting is a paycheck, that's wrong. That's not right. Now, you're a good father. You're a good mother. You're someone who's making sure that maybe having a second job that your kids might have a better future. They go and study and whatever.
And if you want that, that's fine, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't make you a businessman. I mean, if you're going to work hard by being a businessman, an entrepreneur, you're going to have a plan for success. You have to have a goal. Like, as I mentioned, this car over here, that was my first Ferrari over 10 years ago. And I was over the moon. I was happy to have one Ferrari. And for a long time, I had one Ferrari and one Porsche. And then the opportunity came where I could buy more, but never did I think I would get to the point of buying multi-million-dollar cars. But again, it's about the drive. I was told by Ferrari just over a year ago, 18 months ago, if you want an F80, you're going to have one of the big five. So I go, well, the F40 is the cheapest one.
Okay.
So, but again, that's over $2 million purchase. Don't have that sitting in the bank account, and no one's going to lend you money to buy an F40. Okay. So I had to go, wow, that was my drive for 2025. How am I going to get that money without affecting the business, obviously? And I found a way. And I did the deal. Again, like Donald Trump likes to say, the art of the deal. I had to go and buy the car, but I didn't have a check ready to give to the person. So I had to put together a deal that he was comfortable with. And again, that's where the trust comes in. Fortunately, the owner of the car is someone I've done business with in the past. And he goes, you can trust Thomas. If he says he's going to do that, that's what he's going to do. The guy had no risk because until he got paid, he wasn't going to give me the car anyway.
Exactly.
So we worked out a payment plan that he was comfortable with and I could manage, and I got the car. But there's a lot of other things I couldn't do for the rest of the year. But that's because I made my choice. I'm going to get
that. So that attaches what I asked of affecting. I wouldn't say affecting. Let's just say sacrifice. I think that's a big word when you want to be an entrepreneur. Sacrificing certain things to achieve your goals.
Well, you're sacrificing for the future, not sacrifice for the sake of sacrifice.
Exactly.
I think that's when you can put it in perspective, because I've done my sacrificing, and I have friends or people in the industry which have not been as successful as I or my company, and it's because I sacrificed to get here. No one gave me anything. There's no silver spoon in the mouth here. Everything I have, I had to earn. And it gives you obviously that then gives you the pleasure aspect as well. You feel like you've achieved the.
You just don't randomly own 5 Ferraris, right?
Yeah, it's a bit more. But anyway, let's leave it at 5.
Yeah, let's leave it at 5
but it's again, as I mentioned before, I got my automotive design background, my passion for cars. So I don't see these as, materialistic objects. It's things that I like. I don't go out to eat to show off my Porsche or my Ferrari. That's not the idea. For other people it is, and that's it is fine. But other people buy boats, other people buy houses, other people rather just go.
Girls buy purses.
Buy purses for their girlfriends, for their wives, whatever. But that thing that drives you is important, and once you achieve it, it's great. But so the sacrificing has to happen.
100%.
If you got easy money, at some point it's going to disappear.
I agree.
That's my feeling. People that I've met that made easy money, most of them don't have money.
Oh, they're in jail.
They're in jail. There's a few in jail, but there's no easy solution. Like if someone, and I've had this, people come to me and go, "Hey, Thomas, I got $1 million, 50 million pesos to invest. I'm thinking about doing it in a call center." And I'm going like, you know what? Go to Vegas and blow the money. You got more luck in making money in Vegas than investing in a call center. Now, it's just so much more difficult now, the market.
Because people think just with money they could just achieve anything, and there's a learning curve for it.
No, exactly, because I got through into this totally by coincidence. I mean, I needed a job, I'd gone bankrupt, and I started off, since I had my web design and web
business
monetizing skills, I ended up working for a company that was in that market, and then I managed to grow inside that company that ended up taking me here to the DR. But it's not because I saw someone else being rich doing call center. Oh, I'm going to do call centers. You have to have the passion. Copycatting is going to only get you so far. Everyone that you see that is a successful entrepreneur is because they're doing something with a passion.
Yeah, and they definitely found their way. Going back into the sacrifice, I know a lot of kids nowadays, or eventually if they're starting out in a journey, they get hit with their girlfriend doesn't want to spend more time with them, and they're sacrificing that for a bigger goal, and that girlfriend probably doesn't understand, or their mom or their family have something to say. Because
you need tunnel vision. You got to worry about yourself and what works for you. I don't remember his name. Warren Buffett's partner, who recently passed away, he said that a girlfriend will always cost you money, but once you have money, you can have as many girlfriends as you want. It's like so. You need a strong partner by your side as well if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. So then that's not the right partner for you if they're going to break your balls because you're working late. Again, maybe you need to, just like as with your employees, sell them the vision. You have to sell your partner or your family the vision. But your family should always understand what it is you're trying to achieve and support you. A partner, which is not blood related, it's possibly different.
What would you define? Let's say, and let's go from the male perspective. Let's say an entrepreneur, he's on the path. He has to figure a lot of things out, right? No money, probably in the struggles. How would you describe a perfect partner for that entrepreneur starting?
Like a relationship partner.
Yeah, a relationship partner.
Well, that's a tough one. Well, you don't want a partner which is also an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because I've tried that as well. That didn't work out. And a long time ago in England. And because then you're both pulling in different directions from day one. And I just think you have to leave it to the gods, that one there. At some point, someone will turn up, or maybe you just don't have a partner. There's no one putting a gun to your head that you need to have a partner. I mean, to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be single-minded. You cannot have stupid distractions. So again, a little bit of horses for courses. If you are married and you have kids, you have certain responsibilities there as well. Then when it comes to sacrificing, then you're sacrificing maybe going out with your friends for a drink or going out to see a football match because I got a limited free time, or then I'm going to spend it with my family because that's your support system. That's when the sacrificing probably comes in. But what I can tell you from my personal perspective is that it's worth it at the end, as long as you are successful. And that's all up to you.
Which is not guaranteed.
Well, it's definitely not guaranteed, but nothing in life is guaranteed. That's for sure. I had, again, talking about cars, a couple of years ago, I crashed my Pista. I was going out for a normal drive. Luckily, I was slowing down. I had a front right puncture. You cannot control a car once you go a front puncture. And I hit double guardrail. And you see the car, you think, how did he walk out alive? I walked out without a scratch. I got lucky. There was no cars coming the other way or whatever. So you just have no guarantees. You walk out and something can happen to you. So I don't worry too much about fate and things of that kind. And what I definitely don't believe in, I think this is very important as an entrepreneur, is luck. Opportunities can come your way. You need to take them. Most people that fail is because they didn't take advantage of an opportunity that came their way. Oh, I'm going to go and meet someone. It's a 3-hour drive. Oh man, it's raining. I'm not going to go and do that drive. No, I'm not going to go and bother and see that person. And that guy just invented a light bulb or something so that's where, I've had countless flights to see potential clients were a total waste of time. But how do I know it's a waste of time unless I go there and check the box? So that's where you have to put the hard graft. You got to go and dig until you find the gold.
Well, even this right now, I literally just took the opportunity. Like, let me just DM Thomas and see if he answered. Answer right away. I was surprised. I'm like, wow, that's cool. If I didn't push through.
No, exactly. Yeah. You got to push for what you want, and don't listen to anyone who talks about luck or being lucky. You take advantage of that.
That's pretty disrespectful. If I tell you right now, hey Thomas, you were lucky. I think that's right, like that.
And if you got friends who think that you're lucky, then they're not friends you should be hanging around with. You see a lot on Instagram now where the older you get, fewer friends you have because you find out who your real friends are. But that's true. I will say that's probably correct. But that's just a way of life. You just have to go through that. You cannot set your mind, I'm going to get rid of 50% of my friends. Instagram told me to do that. But your closest friends have to be the ones that support you
Fortune.
through.
I also
doing that.
agree on the side that it's that they understand you, right? So it's not the same as you talking to a friend that probably doesn't understand what you do. Tell them that your problems. Which is funny because like sometimes you tell your friends like, oh yeah, this $10 million deal went wrong, and they think you're flexing, and it's not. It's you're just literally dealing with your problems, right? And
Yeah, I would say that you got to find your own solution. There's no point talking to someone who's not a product subject expert on it and hope that they'll tell you something. Like I never bothered to talk to my wives about my business issues. They were not going to be able to
answer.
help me out. Now, if I had a issue with an employee and character-wise, then okay, it's good to get someone else. That's a human reaction. Then, okay, fine, you can talk to someone, but you have to be single-minded when you're at the top. It's a lonely place at the top, but you got to make the decision which you think are right. Because not making a decision is definitely the wrong decision. You got to take a decision, and then you pivot if that decision wasn't 100% right. But you became successful as an entrepreneur because you've been taking most of the time the right decisions along the way. So you got to trust your track record. So okay, I got to make a decision. Earlier this year, we got notice from a pretty substantial client of ours that they're going to stop working with us. Something we kind of expected, we just didn't know when. And the moment we got the confirmation, it wasn't panic stations. I knew this was coming, so I started preparing myself. And then based on the timing, I worked out, okay, how are we going to pivot now? How are we going to make a difference? And I told my team, we're going to do this, this, and that. And some of them were like, are you crazy? We're going to do this? We're going to cut that? I said, well, yeah, I mean, look at the cash flow. Like, this is how it's going to affect us. So we're going to do this and that. And some of them were like hoping for the fairy to turn up or the magic button. I'm like, no, there's no fairy coming here. We need to do this and that. And we're going to have 6 months of battling down the hatches. And then once we get through it, we're going to take advantage. We're going to take an opportunity. And that's what's happening now. Because, again, you have to be positive. Every challenge is an opportunity. Right now, I've got to replace this client, which is a substantial client, but the new client I'm going to replace or multiple clients I need to find will make more money for us in the long term. Because now I know I've got to find new clients. Well, I'm not going to get the same type of client. I'm going to get someone that will value us. No, value us more would be wrong, but that can pay more for the services. So, crying in the corner is not going to help. That's for sure.
Interesting. Thomas, I want to get into a technical side. Let's just think about the young entrepreneur there that's probably like, yeah, I get it, the frameworks, but what can I do today, right? So, Thomas, let's just go back. Hopefully this will never happen, but tomorrow you wake up, no money, no cars, just your expertise.
Okay.
But Steven gives you $500. What would you do?
Well, $500 in this day and age is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you have to multiply that money quickly, and probably the best way is just by selling. Now, are you an entrepreneur that knows how to sell? Because not every entrepreneur is a salesperson.
Yeah.
Certain entrepreneurs are just great at logistics, at things to do with whether it's like computing. I mean, they're not all salespeople, they're visionaries and things of that kind. But if you got $500, you got to work out a way. Okay, what can I buy and what can I sell with that $500? Now, there's a lot of drop shipment and things of that kind you can do on Amazon or eBay. And those people sit and make good money. They're probably making 30, 40 grand a month. Again, you have to decide, is that where I want to be? Is that scalable? Is that something long-term? But at least you're making money that you can then reinvest in something else. So my advice is, hopefully you're a sales guy. You can multiply.
Would you focus
money
more on scale rather than just multiplying the $500?
Sorry, on skill or?
So would you focus more on a skill, like let's say sales?
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is that it's just you. doing it. So I'm just hoping you're a sales guy or learn quickly how to be a sales guy. But to me, sales guys are born. So,
You know what's funny? That reminds me of a day I was, I think it was 2018 or 17. I moved to Miami and I was dead broke. I was doing Uber, literally. And I'm like, what can I do to make an extra $500? And what I found out, I'm not sure if this is working right now, but definitely a great idea. So what I did was I went to Amazon, right? I grabbed a bunch of products for like, in Miami, a lot of people have like backyards. So I went and found like umbrellas, like backyard stuff, right? Like seats and stuff. Grabbed the picture from Amazon, went into Facebook Marketplace and listed the product for like a $10 markup. And funny thing, I ended up finding people just buying in bulk and stuff, and I made, I think it was in a week, $500. So point being, you grab pictures from Amazon, right? You find the product, you do a markup in Facebook Marketplace, and when when it takes and they're ready to buy, straight up Amazon Prime to your house. $10, $20 per product. Great idea.
Exactly. So that's probably something you can do just to get up and running. For sure. And that's probably much cleverer than buy something, have it in stock, then go out and try and sell it. If you can do drop shipment like that, that's probably the best.
That's a very great way. So how about nowadays and age, today's, like now, if you were to start from zero, what would you focus on?
Well, as a business?
Yeah. Oof. As Thomas.
That's a tough one. Depends how much money I had to invest, I would say. As Thomas, myself, I will probably be selling more as a consultant, consulting services to help other businesses. I always said if I have to ever start another business, it cannot have people in it. I got more than enough with what I got now. If I have a way of getting out of it, I'll take it. But if I'm talking in general as an entrepreneur that wants to, find a niche or find the opportunity, and you have the passion for it, it's tough because I think you need to have a hunger that I don't have anymore because of my age and experience.
I mean, you look young, bro. So
yeah, one thing looking young, is another thing being or feeling it. But I mean, I don't understand enough about AI. I know that's the big buzzword. But again, we're looking into AI solutions. And what I'm finding is there's a lot out there. So you're trusting the person who's put together a platform, which is an amalgamation of different products of AI, that they've done the right investigations to put something together for you. So again, though, you need to have that knowledge.
The knowledge, yep.
To do that. Also, I think it depends in the country you're in. When I first came to the DR, it was nowhere near as evolved as now. There was a lot of opportunities because people weren't, serving these opportunities. In those days, 20 years ago, you could put your money in the bank and get 15, 20% return. So why work? I had a friend of mine who ended up working for me in my first call center in the DR. He inherited his father's business. And because hang on a second, my father literally worked to the grave, and I can just take this, sell it, put it in the bank, and get 15% return. Why on earth am I going to work? So that didn't help the entrepreneurial spirit here at all. Things change, and people need to find other solutions. I think now, it's tough. Yeah, you have to find that niche that is serving a much more complicated consumer because they can buy it online. Even in the call center business, when we first started, we were doing a lot of sales. then after 6 or 7 years, we realized as we're talking to the person, they're going, oh yeah, I just saw the same product on Amazon for $20 cheaper. Bye, put the phone down.
Boom.
They were checking in real time.
Real time, yeah.
And we thought, And then even when we were in the energy sales business, the person we used to speak to would go, well, Coned is selling you a 13.2 cents a therm. We can do it at 10.45. Oh, really? Oh, well, let me sign up. 5 years later, they're going, you're talking bullshit. Like, I just checked the website and this and that. You go, oh, man, now we don't.
Oh, they got ChatGPT just
Now with that especially. So it's a much more fragmented marketplace.
Interesting.
So, to find something new, I will be a little bit pushed in and see. It depends on how much you have to invest, but you're always selling yourself at the end of the day. So if it's something that you can use your personality to help to promote, and all well and good.
We got all this influencer stuff and online brand.
Exactly. I mean, one thing I wouldn't recommend doing, and a lot of people fall into and think it's easy, is like real estate. Oh, I'm going to go and sell.
It's real estate.
I'm going to go and sell real estate.
Yeah.
You're selling someone else's product and getting a cut. You're becoming a mercenary. That to me is not my girlfriend is a
funny thing. I want to hop on that topic because I actually work with one of the biggest brokers here in DR, and so we implement the technology. We have an AI follow-up system, right? So once they generate the lead, it goes into the CRM, and AI automatically calls them, qualifies them, and just follows up. It's funny because like mentally here, like compared to the States, in the States, you got to get your license and stuff. Here, you just put it in your bio. Hey, real estate expert. That's it.
Yeah, because at some point, you'll work with someone who has a license and you piggyback off their license, but you have to check. You have to check. No, that's not entrepreneurship for me. Become working in real life. If you're not create a real estate company that people working under you, that's different. But again, wow. What's your USP at that point? And you're really fighting, swimming with the sharks at that.
That's the problem I'm seeing here. It's just a mental framework. They just go in like, I'm gonna do real estate just because they think it's quick money. I'm like, you don't understand. You're in the follow-up game, building relationship game. You can just like run an ad, say that you're going to sell this 200, 300K apartment, and just randomly today, someone's going to give you $10,000.
No, exactly.
That's a bad mental framework to have.
No.
But
sure.
100%. Thomas, so we're coming to the end of the episode. I just want to go back into the cars.
Okay.
Just a little bit. What made you go into Ferrari?
Well, I guess my Italian roots, first of all. And my godfather, uncle being a big Ferrari client, and my summer holidays, the highlight was always to go to his house and pick which Ferrari was going to take me out on a ride in. So I think that's always been in me. And that what drove me to my first profession of automotive design as well. And so now it's in the blood, and it's interesting because my youngest daughter is probably the most passionate about my cars, but my son is not that into it, or not yet.
That's really interesting. It always happens that, probably because they grow up around it, they're like,
No, exactly. That when their friends come to visit, or they're like, face against the window. But
how many cars do you own right now?
It's like north of 15 now, between
15?
Porsches and Ferraris. And I have a little Fiat 500 bubble car, the original one.
500?
That was my student car. So I ended up buying one and restoring it, and I put AC in it so I can use it in the DR. My goal is to get to 25, 26 cars, which I like. I love classic cars. I got all the speed I want now with these modern cars. So I'm looking to buy cars which are from the 60s and 70s, beautiful cars. Whether it's an E-Type Jag, a Maserati Ghibli, something of that kind.
Tell me about the F40. So we're going to have the first F40 in the Dominican Republic.
First and only.
The first and only, probably.
Well, I mean, that again is where you have some fortune where, you know, I get told I need to get one to improve my standings inside Ferrari. I'm visiting the Ferrari factory, and one of the suppliers, Zanassi, that does all the special paintwork, you know, all the stripes on the Ferraris come from Zanassi. Also, they specialize in the carbon fiber, and anything which is customized is done by them. Fortunately, the owner is a friend of mine. Every time I go to visit Italy, I pass by to see him. And I was right there when I got the call, and in front of me is an F40. And jokingly, after the call, I go, oh, you know, do you know this guy Ferrari? He goes, yeah, of course I know him. Like, hey, he just called me and said, if I want the F80, I need to get an F40. This F40 for sale. Because, well, I literally just finished restoring it. But I think my friend wants to sell it. Called him up. He said, I got someone here, a very good friend of mine, is interested in your car. You want to sell it? And the guy, so he literally gave me the phone, and we had a 5-minute conversation. We came to an agreement, and then, as I mentioned, due to the trust we have, we did a deal, and he was prepared to wait for the funds. So that's how it came about, and I'm waiting, you know, the next couple of days to have the car finally here and be able to drive. Obviously, that's just going to be used on the track.
You're not going to drive it on the streets?
Well, I will at some point, but I need to get the suspension lifter first installed. And the original Ferrari suspension lifter was a dog, so DK Engineering have their own system. So early in the new year, I'll put that. I mean, I got problems getting out of my residency, let alone on the street.
Yeah, that's going to be an
with that car. And obviously, it's a car that, you know, you cannot drive it in the heat, and that's not a car you can drive in the afternoon in Dominican Republic. I mean, it will overheat pretty quickly. But it's like, you know, early Sunday morning, wake up the neighbors, and go for a drive.
I like that.
Or go to the circuit. That's probably what's going to.
So, besides the F40, what other special cars are we going to see in DR?
Well, I got a 12 Cilindri Spider coming. There's already one in the country, but mine is going to be tailor-made. So there's a custom 101 design. It'll be ready sometime next year, and also the XX, the SF90 XX Coupe, which I did tailor, which is Atelier. So that's another specialized customization of Ferrari. I used early 2000s. Formula One Ferraris an inspiration, Michael Schumacher, Massa, Irvine type of livery. So it's like Rosso Magna with a lot of white stripes and white dreamlines. The interior is that blue electric Alcantara, so that arcs back to the 250 GTO.
You really like blue, because I kind of...
No, blue is my favorite color, but that's not the reason behind the seat.
Okay.
So that's going to be coming here in the next month or so. And then sometime next year, the 296 Speciale, which I like the design. I would say it's probably the best design Ferrari have done since they left Pininfarina. The 296 Speciale. Yeah. And then, you know, as I mentioned to you before, I managed to buy from my uncle the first Ferrari I ever had the chance to ride in. That should be here in the next couple of days. And so that's more of a nostalgic buy, and that's your classic Ferrari V12, mid-mounted, F1 technology. I mean, the block of the 512 Berliner Boxer comes from the Ferrari T2 and T3 that Niki Lauda won the World Championship and Jody Scheckter. So, and it's a beautiful design. Is your classic wedge shape 70s design. This one has been totally refurbished by Ferrari Classica as well a few years ago. So it's in absolutely pristine, perfect condition, to the point that when it arrived, after 1 month voyage, it started first go. Like, plug it in, boom, V12 cab. You're talking about 6 Weber carburetors. Damn, started. No issue.
That's so cool. Thomas, you know, it's funny because growing up, back in, this was, I believe, 1998, 1999, my dad owned 2 dealerships and he got his hands on a Lamborghini Diablo red. Since 2001 or 2 that he got rid of it, I've been looking for that car ever since.
Here in the DR?
Here in the DR. So
I didn't know.
remember there were 2, a yellow one.
Yeah, which Canan has.
Canan has the yellow one, right? And the red one, which I remember because I was a little kid.
Probably got exported. A lot of these cars got exported. I mean, they used to be
I don't know what happened to it.
355s. Now there's only one. I mean, many F430s got exported as well. But I'll keep my eyes out. Eyes open. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
See if
since that day, man, it's been my dream. Because I remember when he had it. Unfortunately, the engine was blown. But you know, that was like my first reaction to it.
the Diablo is your,
That's your
late 80s, early 90s supercar, man, right there. I mean, good for Lambo. They kept on going with the same formula, whereas Ferrari moved to the front engine V12 with the 512, and then that was a bit of a pig of a car. I mean, aesthetically, never did anything for me. But at least Lamborghini stuck. Yeah, right now they're still doing the same thing. At the end of the day.
Thomas, last question. If you were to pass tomorrow, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh boy. Hopefully I'm not passing away one of these cars. I think remembered as always a passionate, driven person who always wanted to give 101%. And but humble enough to remember where it all started from. And I could be considered as being a little bit cold-hearted because of that entrepreneurial side comes out. But there are people out there who know the good side of me, that when someone needs help, I'm there for them. But they need to deserve that help as well. So we'll be interested in the eulogy when that moment comes. But I'm always very straightforward. I'm not two-faced, I think. Like, I'm always telling it as it is, what I feel. And if it hurts your feelings, then maybe you shouldn't get me to tell you this. Like, it's like, it's your fault that you hurt, hurt your feeling. Like, I'm just telling you how it is. And, to finalize the discussion, I think, to be a strong, successful entrepreneur, you have to be true to yourself and not be scared to upset people. And if you are upsetting someone because you hired the wrong person, that's your fault. It's not that person's fault because you hired them and you thought they could do the job and they can't do the job.
Taking ownership.
Yeah, you have to take ownership. You cannot blame that person. Now, if they've gone wayward with their performance, they could do it once and they're no longer doing it, then it's a different story. But you need to own the solution.
Thomas,
for sure.
It's been a pleasure.
No, my pleasure. A lot of fun. All right.
Señores, ya pueden ver en la calidad de ser humano que es Thomas, sus historias. I think there should be a part 2 because there's probably some stories behind some cars here that I want.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
So, señores, suscríbanse, busquen en Instagram de Thomas. Thomas, plug your IG.
Yeah, sure. It's Sportscast Lifestyle DR.
I mean, that says it all, right? Señores, suscríbanse, denle share, comenten, denle like, compartan esto con alguna persona que ustedes conozcan que pueda beneficiar la historia de Thomas y cualquier cosa que hablamos aquí. Así que sígueme a mí, Mr. Steven Thomas. Estamos a la orden. Pueden mandarme DM si tienen una pregunta, si quieren saber algo en específico. El objetivo de The Blueprint es enseñarle a ustedes cómo ustedes pueden lograr cosas desde cero hasta lo más alto nivel, como pueden ver aquí. Así que gracias y nos vemos la próxima.
Saludos.